Good day, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. It's the end of September, so let's talk about what did I read this month. That's coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Alright, let's talk about what I read in the month of September and how my reading goal is going for the month so far. Let's get into that. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. You can also join me on my Discord. That'll be linked below, where we can chat about all these awesome books. I also have a bit of an announcement for October as well in this video, so stay tuned for that for sure. You can also follow me on my Bookstagram. So let's talk about this. So just to start off the month, we're going to talk a little bit about my reading goal for the year. So as mentioned in previous videos, I have set a reading goal and target for 75 books to read in the year of 2022. As of the day of filming this video, I am at 55 books read for the year here in 2022. So I feel like I'm definitely on track to hit that target, but we'll see how it ends up at the end of the year. So far I'm sitting at 55 books read of 2022 of a goal of 75. So be sure to let me know down below or join me on my Discord and let me know there how many books you've read this year and whether or not you're on track to reach your goals. I'd love to hear from you on that. But let's talk a little bit about what did I read this month and how the month went for me. So this month I think didn't quite get through as many books as I'd initially hoped to get through, but that's okay because I have definitely started to get into some larger books again in a series that I've been trying to finish. So we'll see how that goes. But let's start talking a little bit about the books I have read to start. So one of the books I read this month, as I am trying to get one nonfiction book per month, was Crispr People by Henry T. Greeley. This one is all about genetic engineering and the ethics and philosophy behind genetic engineering. At least that was my initial impression. Now, the ethics and philosophy behind the moral implications of genetic engineering is absolutely put into question in this book for sure. But I found it read more of a history of genetic engineering, or specifically a history of CRISPR and what happened from its discovery to the CRISPR babies that were born in China and how it destroyed the career of a prominent Chinese scientist. So that seemed to be more of the focus of this book, as a story of the CRISPR and editing humans, which wasn't quite what I was looking for out of this book. That certainly doesn't mean it's a bad read necessarily. Overall, I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. And overall, CRISPR is a fascinating technology and it's got so much potential to it. And I love reading about it overall. But between the writing style and it not quite being what I thought maybe the book might be more focused on, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't a great, fantastic read. But if you are into CRISPR technology, if you are into genetic engineering, and you want to know more about CRISPR and the history of CRISPR, this is definitely a good book for you, especially if you want to know more about the CRISPR babies by He Jianko out over in China. This is a good book to learn more about what happened with that entire scenario and situation there as well. So there's Crispr People. I read that one. One of the other books that I read this month was The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents by Terry Pratchett from the Discworld series. Again, another fantastically humorous Discworld book. I mean, it's got rodents that talk, a cat that talks, and just some Piper kid that follows them around. And overall, like all Terry Pratchett Discworld books, this was a hilarious read, and I definitely recommend anything Discworld at this point. I'm probably not going to stop talking about Discworld until I finish reading all 42 books. By the way, I love the fact that there's 42 books in Discworld. I mean, if you've read Hitchhiker's Guide, you know 42. And I love the fact that Discworld has 42 books. That is just awesome. I love that. And I also recently found out that this is actually a movie that's coming out. Apparently, something I didn't know about when I started reading this. I just found out about that recently, so I think I'm going to have to go and see the Amazing Maurice movie once that comes out later this year, from what I understand. But yeah, Terry Pratchett's The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents, who were pulling off a scam of the rat piper to rid the town of rats, but it's all a scam. They're all working together. Spoiler alert, I guess. But anyway, there you have it. Terry Pratchett's The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. One of the other books that I had the opportunity to read this month was Baden Hill. So definitely, if you have not checked out my review on Baden Hill, do so. I will have that linked in the cards above as well as linked in the description below. Be sure to go ahead and check that out. This is book 2 of The Wars of Wrath by I, Anonymous. And this book kind of gets more into the Arthurian legend and the Merlin and the wars and Baden Hill, the Battle of Baden Hill. So definitely check this out. It is a fantastic historical fantasy. I absolutely am loving this series, and thank you so much, I, Anonymous, for sending me your book. I really do appreciate it. This really was overall just a great read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the other books I read this month was Indian Horse by Richard Wagamese. Now, this was an extremely difficult read, and I don't mean that because in the sense that it's a complicated, hard to understand story, but because of the content and what this story is about. There's absolutely trigger warnings within this book. This book is about a survivor of the residential school system in Canada and what he had gone through, suffering the abuse and neglect and harm and cultural genocide that was inflicted upon his people and those like him in Canadian history. One of the darkest marks on Canadian history, probably the darkest mark in Canadian history as far as I'm concerned. Indian Horse is just a powerful, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching story that really packs a punch, and you really feel for Indian Horse, which is our main character, Saul Indian Horse. You really feel for the struggles and the terror and the just hopelessness that he had to endure. And it really is a powerful story of what it was like to have to be part of that system, and a story of how he overcame that and what he was pushed to in his life and the type of life that he led. So if you want to know more about the residential schools and kind of get a perspective of what that was like, this is a really good read for that. Though definitely trigger warnings, absolutely. This is not an easy story to read because of the absolute horror and brutality that these people had to deal with in this residential school system. Stay tuned for my review for that. That is dropping tomorrow, September 30th on Orange Shirt Day. My review for this book will be out, so definitely stay tuned for that. Like I said, be warned, a trigger warning. There's some very difficult things to read as far as what is happening within this book. But still a fantastic read, and I'm really glad that I picked that up and read that. And finally, the last book that, admittedly, I haven't actually finished reading this book as of the day of filming this video, but I do anticipate finishing this book in the month of September, or maybe October 1st the latest, but I'm really hoping to finish it up today, or not today, this month. And we're almost done a read through of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, with my daughter. She is absolutely loving this story and looking forward to watching the movies once we're done. We may even do a video together on this whole book series as a whole, so make sure that you do stay tuned for that. But Lord of the Rings finishing up this month. My daughter has thoroughly enjoyed this book series, and I'm so glad I've had the opportunity to read it to her, and look forward to watching the movies with her. She has really enjoyed it. So again, stay tuned because we may be doing a video together, me and my wonderful daughter, Kara, or as she likes to be called, Maya, this book, and talking about this book series. So definitely stay tuned for that. I expect we'll finish this up by the end of the month, and looking forward to that as well. It's been a very enjoyable experience reading through the Lord of the Rings books with her. So that leaves us with 2 books that I'm currently working on, both as of the day of filming this video, but also I expect to kind of flow over into October. So one is going to be Dust of Dreams. I finally got back into the Malazan Book of the Fallen World with Dust of Dreams. This is the second to last, with the Crippled God being the final in the main set of books within this world, created by Steve Erickson and Esselmont. Can't remember, it's like E.T. Esselmont or something like that. Anyway, Steven Erickson's books. Dust of Dreams is what I'm working on right now as of the day of filming this video, and definitely it's one of those series, I've said it before, love hate it, right? I love the world, I love the characters, I love the story behind it, but it's so big and complex and massive and huge that so often throughout each book I'm like, hey, what's going on? Who are these people? Where are we now? So it's one of those challenging books to read in that sense, but it's still an enjoyable read in another sense, in that it's such a massive fantasy epic scope world with so many different characters and intrigue, and just overall, it's an enjoyable yet frustrating read. I don't know how to say it. It's a love-hate relationship, but I am looking forward to, I'm a completionist, so I've got to finish this series that I started. I'm so far through it already. This is the second to last book in the main series, so I'm going to finish this. I'm determined to finish it because Malazan is just that. It's a big, vast, epic tale, and I'm thinking at one point I'm going to go back and reread it through immersive reading at some point. So I think it's one of those series where you need to read it more than once to really kind of get the full grasp of everything. But I am looking forward to that, and I've heard that the second time through is much better than the first, so to speak. The other book that I am currently working on right now, which I don't expect to finish this month, but I do anticipate finishing early October, hopefully, is going to be The Burning White by Brent Weeks from The Lightbringer. This is the final book in the Lightbringer saga, and this is my first time through this, but I am reading along with the graphic audio and really enjoying it. I am going to be doing a full review on the Lightbringer series once I finally complete book 5 of this series, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. The Burning White by Brent Weeks, book 5 of the Lightbringer series. So that is going to be fun to do the review on this, because it really is a awesome series. I am thoroughly enjoying it myself. I know definitely there are those that really don't like it at all, but I absolutely am loving it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this series ends and wraps up. So The Burning White by Brent Weeks is what I'm currently working on as well, leading into October. So there you have it. There are the books that I read in the month of September. So that wraps up all my reading for September. Hopefully once I'm actually through Malazan Book of the Fallen, I'm going to be able to get on or start reading, about the 5 to 6 books a month that I would normally do. But with Malazan, they're pretty big, so it takes a while to get through them. But in any case, there are my reads for the month of September. Be sure to let me know what you read in September. But before we go, we got one last thing to talk about. On my recent vacation to Edmonton, I had the opportunity to go book shopping with Sept, who is on the Discord, so make sure you join us down below and you can engage with all of us, and this will be an exciting opportunity to do so. So after book shopping in Edmonton on my vacation with Sept, I picked up a book that had been on my list for quite a while, Gideon the Ninth. And we have decided that this is going to be the first ever Drew's Book Reviews channel buddy read in October. So make sure you join the Discord. That'll be linked below. We've got a couple people on there ready to go for the buddy read of Gideon the Ninth in October. And it just kind of seems like it could be a good October read with lesbian necromancers explore Gothic palace in space is the tagline on the front of the book. So once CD let me know that Gideon the Ninth was also a recent pickup, I decided to go with it and do a buddy read. We decided together to do a buddy read on the channel, so I've got a channel set up in the Discord for that, so be sure to check that out. First ever Drew's Book Review buddy read in October for Gideon the Ninth. So join us over there if you want to join us for this. If you've already read it, cool. If you want to read it, cool, join us. If you haven't read it yet but want to, join us. It'll be fun. Anyway, that is the channel announcement, the first ever buddy read. I've got some other fun stuff planned for coming up for October as well that I'm looking forward to. But stay tuned for my October preview video to hear more about that. In any case, thank you so much for watching. There is my wrap up for the month of September. I hope you had a great month of reading. I know I've had a great month of reading overall, and I look forward to more fantastic reads as we continue out through the rest of the year. And don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you know when I post new content, which I do post every single Friday on the channel and occasionally other days throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye!